Hello everyone. For the past year, I have been talking about mainly situation of electric power and in global warming countermeasures in Japan under the title of Energy Talk. I am very happy to have this opportunity to study energy issues together with you. Today, I would like to summarize what I have said so far and how Japan confronts three major challenges of the energy security, affordability, and sustainability, or the trilemma. The year 2023 marked the 50th anniversary of the first oil crisis in 1973. 50 years ago, Japan was probably one of the countries most affected by the oil crisis. Japan was then more than 90% dependent on Middle Eastern crude oil, and the oil shocks triggered by the Fourth Middle East War caused oil prices to skyrocket and imports to be restricted. On October 6, 1973, many housewives ran to supermarket to buy toilet paper rolls, which were sold out in many places, and society was thrown into chaos. The government forced people to conserve energy, neon lights disappeared from Ginza, and late-night TV broadcasts disappeared also. Learning from this lesson, Japan began to diversify its energy sources. It began importing natural gas from Alaska and later diversified its suppliers to include Brunei, Malaysia, and in Australia. Nuclear power development was also accelerated, and 40 nuclear reactors started operation during the next 2 decades up until 1993. As a result, before the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear accident, Japan had achieved a balanced power generation mix of approximately 30 nuclear power, 30 LNG-fired, 20 coal-fired, 10% oil-fired, and 10% hydropower. During these years, there were several oil price spikes and the depreciation of yen, which increased energy prices in Japan, a country that relies heavily on imports. But even so, there was no social disruption like the oil shocks, and the lessons of the oil crisis have been applied to a certain extent. During this period, the top agenda was how to keep energy prices down. As we entered the 21st century, global warming began to be the top issue, and the thermal power, especially coal-fired power, began to be seen as the enemy. The Fukushima accident also had a major impact. Then came the Russian invasion of Ukraine, which plunged Europe in particular into an energy crisis and made the world realize once again the importance of energy security. Thus, looking back over the past 50 years, we've been bouncing right and left between these three issues, or trilemmas. All these three are extremely important issues, and the challenge is how to maintain a good balance among them in the future. Personally, I believe that energy security should be the top priority because net zero CO2 emission is an issue that must be addressed over the long term toward 2050. Prices will fluctuate from time to time, and there are certain aspects that need to be addressed on a case-by-case basis. However, a stable supply of energy is indispensable every day, 24/7. We live in a society where nothing can be done in the event of a power outage. In terms of energy security, Japan's energy self-sufficiency rate is about only 13%, making it the most vulnerable country in the world. On the other hand, it is also the country that has learned the most lessons. From this perspective, I am convinced that diversification is the only answer for countries and regions that have no choice but to rely on imported energy. Diversification also contributes to energy price stability. Regarding the third issue, global warming countermeasures, as I have emphasized many times in the past, the first measure we should take is to promote electrification on the demand side and non-fossil power generation on the supply side. Electrification means the widespread use of electric vehicles and heat pumps. The development of non-fossil power generation means the promotion of renewable energy and nuclear power, which will increase the energy self-sufficiency ratio and strengthen energy security. Fortunately, electric vehicles and heat pumps are existing mature technology available today. Of course, we will need to promote research and development on hydrogen, ammonia, storage batteries, CO2 capture and storage, etc. But I believe that we should start working honestly on measures that can be taken today, rather than waiting for new technologies to be developed, which will take time. Stay curious about energy. Thank you very much.